everyone, I'm Alex, and welcome to this amazing kids interview. Today, our guest is Mr. Kent Healy, co-author of the just-released book, Tipping Tip for the Soul, Extraordinary Teens, Personal Stories and Advice from Today's Most Inspiring Youth. Thanks for joining us, Kent.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. It's exciting. Thank you.
Kent, you've been on an amazing path to success. You started your business at age 14, wrote your first book at age 17, and now you've teamed up with Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, two very famous authors for your latest book. That's quite a journey, and we'll talk about that. But first, tell us about this book.
Well, Chicken Soup for the Soul is really cool because really what it is a collection of stories, of actually mini biographies of people who are young and still done incredible things in their life. And on top of that, they share their secrets to success. So rather than just creating a book that outlines what it takes to succeed, they share their story and put things into their own words as to what it took them to get the results that they've been able to enjoy. And I think what is most exciting about this book and having it be a bunch of stories is that any reader can pull a lesson that's important to them as they read the story. So if somebody else, reader A may pull a different story or a different lesson from the story than reader B. And it depends on where they are in life and really what they want to accomplish. So that's why, for me personally, biographies and reading about other people who've been successful has really inspired me and it helped me in so many ways, because I think there's few better ways to learn than to learn from those who have been there and done that. So that's pretty much what this book is all about. It's these young people who pass on their secrets of success to the reader of the book.
Good. Your books and articles are filled with cool stuff, lessons about discipline, motivation, attitude, and practical things like how to get a job or start a business. Where did you learn these things? Who shared the coolest lesson with you, and what was it?
That's a really good question. Some people think, just because I've written a few books by now, they just think, oh, well, he must have been born with this, talent to write books, or he must have been born with this knowledge that I didn't have. And those couldn't be further from the truth. I had no writing background. I had no business background. I had no speaking background. None of that when I first got into writing books. It basically all began out of a need for me to learn information that I knew I was not learning in school. I had started a company with my brother when we were teenagers, and we were making skateboards, we were making skimboards and T-shirts and all these cool things. And that business taught me how little I knew about the real world or life outside of the classroom. So that's when my brother and I just started doing some research. We talked to people who we looked up to, and we said, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you were a teenager? And they'd give us some feedback, and we'd apply it to our lives and experiment with it. And then we'd say, well, what books did you read, or what books would you recommend? And we started reading books. We started going to seminars. And we just gathered all this really great information and learned a lot of lessons along the way. And then just decided that, it's selfish to keep all of this to ourselves. Let's share it with other people. And we came up with this idea to write our first book, which was Cool Stuff They Should Teach in School. And then from there, everything kind of just took off. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of, marketing and promotion, but it was so exciting to see the impact that it was having on other, teenagers, our peers, basically. And we got to meet some incredible people, like you said, Jack Canfield, who's become one of my greatest mentors. And then the second part of your question, what's the coolest thing that I've learned, or maybe the best advice that I've been given? That's really hard to narrow down, but I think the best advice, and it's not unique advice, but it really helped me, was simply, figure out what you want to do and dedicate yourself to becoming the best you can possibly be at it. And that was what I did for writing. I wasn't naturally gifted at it. I just tried and tried and tried. I put in so many hours, and that finally ended up with, or led me to finishing a top-selling book, and many more after that.
You write about the importance of playing the cards you've been dealt in life. What was the worst bad hand you were dealt, and how did you play it to win?
Gosh, I think for me it's really just been a series of hands that have been dealt to me that kind of came unexpectedly. And that brings me to an important topic because I've really had to face an ongoing challenge, which was dealing with expectations that weren't met. So I had expectations about, what I should be doing and could be doing and the people that I should be meeting and the money I should be making and all that sort of stuff. And it didn't always pan out exactly the way that I wanted it to. So, I had to adjust those expectations in order to keep my motivation high so I could keep going rather than feeling defeated. And I want to explain something on that because there's a difference between lowering standards and changing expectations. A standard is something where it's a level of workmanship that you must reach to feel like you did a good job. And that always remained high. What I had to change, however, were my expectations. For example, I expected to accomplish some very big goals in a very short amount of time. And if I didn't get there, I got really angry. And so I had to adjust those expectations and maybe, make them, based on the feedback I got, a little bit more realistic for my challenge and for my goal. And that really helped me keep going and taught me a lot about life. And that you can't just force yourself to be successful and you can't force results. But what you can do is stay on track, get clear on what you want, and continually try to get the results. So that was an important lesson for me to learn.
You've mentioned before that schools are not teaching common sense things kids and teens need to learn, and I've read that you've taught some special courses in the schools. Specifically, what do you believe schools need to do to turn out kids who are prepared to make it in the real world?
Again, that's a really good question. In fact, I wish I got asked that more often in that way because you said it very well. I think for me, in my opinion, it's really important to learn what I would call right brain skills because school really focuses on left brain skills. And that means, those are just really hard, analytical skills that you can apply for, any sort of basic job. So, just 1 + 1 = 2 or adding up numbers or, just fulfilling basic tasks. But the right brain skills involve more creativity. So this involves, and this is what I think schools should be focusing on more of, is really problem solving, relationship building. So, that involves people skills, how to get along with other people and build a long-lasting relationship. Fiscal responsibility, so how to manage money and make the best decisions. And then another thing I think is important is abstract thinking versus analytical thinking. So I think a lot of times, when people get in life, this overwhelming game that we often refer to as life, that can become overwhelming to some people, and it leads them to make, short-term decisions rather than looking at the big picture and figuring out, okay, well, what are the consequences of this decision? If I make this decision, where will it take me? And I think that sort of information and skill set is very important to succeeding in life because it comes down to our own ability to really produce the results that we want. And we can't rely only on other people to, keep writing us a paycheck or, we can't rely on other people to even coach us through the whole thing. We need to be resourceful and find answers to the questions that we face.
How have you changed old school skills into new fashion concepts and trends? For example, how do you make it cool to learn how to manage a business?
I think the easiest way to do that is really just to lead by example and to show people that, hey, you can, manage a business or you can be fiscally responsible and have fun doing it. And not only have fun, but have more freedom. And that's what Kyle and I have tried to communicate from the very beginning. When we used to give speeches, we used to show up, with board shorts on. And at the top, we'd be wearing a business suit. So we'd have a jacket and a collared shirt and a tie. And then people would look at us like, what the heck are you guys doing? And the whole message was you can be successful and enjoy the process. And you can succeed on your own terms if you're creative and hardworking. So that's really the best way to sell anybody on anything, which is really just lead by example and show them what's possible.